Welcome back, explorers of the mind and hunters of insight. We are diving deep today into one of the most persistent myths of adulthood,
Which is
the idea that curiosity is, well, that it's something you just age out of. You know, you think back to that little kid version of yourself who was always asking
how
why.
constantly annoying all the adults in the room.
Exactly. But what if I told you that kid was actually a genius of well-being?
I'd say you're absolutely right. That inner genius was making probably the best investment possible in their future health.
Yeah.
And our mission today is to, well, to prove it.
Right.
We're going to use the hard science, the studies you shared, to show that curiosity isn't just a nice to have. It's one of the best, cheapest, and most powerful investments you can make in your health. Full stop.
Absolutely. This is more than just staying interested. We're grounding this deep dive in actual brain chemistry, in scientific measurement. We're looking at the evidence that links it to resilience, to success, and even to a longer life.
And we promise you this. Even if you feel like adult life has sort of stamped out that spark, we're going to give you the tools to reignite it.
So the structure is pretty clear, right?
Yeah, the sources lay it out perfectly. First, what exactly is curiosity from a scientific perspective? Then second, what's the evidence for all these benefits?
And third, the fun part, how to actually reactivate it.
Yeah.
So let's start with the brain. What is physically happening when you feel curious?
Well, first we need a good definition. It's not just a passive feeling.
I found this one really helpful. It's from researchers Kashdan and Sylvia back in 2009. They define curiosity as the recognition, seeking, and regulation of novel and challenging experiences.
See, it's active. It's a hunting instinct.
Right. You're not just receiving information, you're going after it.
And that going after it has an immediate, really intense biological kickback. When you feel that little intellectual itch, your brain treats it like a major reward.
You're talking about dopamine.
A massive surge of it, yeah. It just floods the brain's reward circuit.
And to be clear, this is the same circuit, the same chemical that gets activated by things like, chocolate or a great conversation or even sex.
Exactly right. It's the same basic infrastructure. Your brain is patting you on the back saying, hey, good job. Seeking new info is important for survival. So here's a chemical treat.
So it's not some modern luxury, it's an ancient survival mechanism.
It is. But that payoff isn't just a quick hit of pleasure. It directly impacts how well we remember things.
This is where it gets really interesting for me. The idea of curiosity as a cognitive amplifier.
That's a great way to put it. There was this huge study in 2014 published in Neuron. It was a top-tier journal. Gruber, Gelman, and Ranganoth were the researchers.
And what did they do in the experiment?
They basically got people into a high curiosity state, really motivated to know an answer, and then they measured how well they retained that information.
And the result was predictable, I guess? They remembered it better.
Dramatically better. But that wasn't the wild part.
Here we go.
The truly fascinating finding was that they also had a huge improvement in remembering totally unrelated information that was just sort of presented at the same time.
The spillover effect. So how does that work? Is the whole brain just on high alert?
That's precisely the theory. The dopamine rush in the midbrain acts like a giant save button for the hippocampus, our memory center.
Okay.
So when curiosity has that dopamine flowing, the hippocampus just becomes, well, hypersensitive. It's ready to absorb everything, not just the answer you were looking for.
It's like turning your brain into a turbo sponge for a few minutes.
Turbo sponge. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you decide to learn about, I don't know, the history of the spork,
A noble pursuit.
a very noble pursuit.
Yeah.
Your brain doesn't just remember spork facts. You might also remember a phone number you overheard in the background or a name you glanced at. It creates a temporary memory superpower.
So, if you want to learn something boring but important, you should tie it to something you're genuinely curious about.
That is the ultimate cognitive hack, yes. Okay, so that's the short-term win. Pleasure and memory. Let's talk about the long game.
The protective factor.
Exactly. We go from a hack to preventative medicine. You can almost frame high curiosity as a natural antidepressant.
And this is based on those long-term studies, right?
Right. Todd Kashdan, he's one of the giants in this field. He's tracked thousands of people for over 15 years. The results for mental health they're just compelling.
What specifically did he find?
He found that people with high trait curiosity, and that's key. It's a stable part of their personality.
Not just a fleeting interest.
Right. It's how they approach the world. Those people are 35 to 45% less likely to develop anxiety and clinical depression.
That's a huge number. How does that work? Is it just a distraction?
It's more about how they cope. Curious people, by definition, are less scared of uncertainty. They see a challenge as a problem to be explored, not a threat to run from.
So they're actively seeking solutions instead of just ruminating on the problem.
Exactly. That seeking mindset is a powerful shield.
And it goes beyond just feeling better. The sources say it's about actually living longer.
This is maybe the most provocative finding of all. The data says that staying engaged with the world literally adds years to your life. There was a study from the University of Rochester that tracked about 1,200 people for 2 decades.
20 years. And the finding.
The participants who scored highest on curiosity, they had a 20 to 30% lower risk of premature mortality.
Wait, say that again? A 20 to 30% reduction in the risk of dying early.
That's right.
That elevates this whole topic from a nice personality trait to a literal survival necessity. It's basically saying boredom can shorten your life.
In a very real sense, yes. The mechanism is probably a mix of things. Curious people move more, they keep their neural pathways firing, they handle stress better, it keeps you moving mentally and physically.
Okay, let's shift gears. From the internal benefits to the external. How does this play out with other people?
It's a total game changer for relationships. Curiosity is like social glue. You know how in long-term relationships, you start to assume you know everything about the other person.
Oh, for sure. The conversation shrinks down to logistics. Did you take out the trash? What's for dinner?
And that is where connection goes to die. There was a study by Arthur Aran in 2019 that showed active curiosity about your partner is a massive predictor of satisfaction.
It's more than just showing you care, though, isn't it?
It's about novelty.
Yeah.
It's about rediscovery. He found that couples who asked each other deep, new, exploratory questions, like the example, what superpower would you want and why, they reported way more emotional and even sexual satisfaction.
So instead of arguing about the bills, we should be asking, if you could have dinner with any 3 people, living or dead, who would they be?
Precisely. You're exploring the landscape of their mind, which is always changing. It stops you from turning them into a predictable checklist of traits.
And I imagine this exact same principle applies at work.
100%. There was a huge 2022 study in the Harvard Business Review done with Gallup. They looked at 15,000 workers.
Yeah.
And they found that curiosity is the single greatest firewall against burnout.
Wow. What were the actual numbers?
Employees who scored high on curiosity were 4 times more likely to feel engaged at work. And get this, they experienced 70% less burnout.
70%, just from asking why and what if at your job.
And it showed in their performance. Their managers consistently rated them as more creative, more innovative, more adaptable. Curiosity is the engine of problem solving.
Okay, this has been a flood of information. Brain chemistry, longevity, relationships, work. Let's try to synthesize this for everyone listening.
Let's do it.
We think there are 5 big ideas to basically tattoo on your brain from all this. Number 1.
Number 1, curiosity is not a hobby. It is a biological necessity. Your brain and body need novelty to thrive.
Number 2, the math is simple and it's on your side. More curiosity means more dopamine, better memory, more happiness, and more years of life.
Number 3, and this is so important, it is trainable. Curiosity is a muscle, not some fixed gift you're born with.
Number 4, asking why and what if. It's the cheapest, fastest hack for well-being you can possibly use.
And finally, number 5, remember this. The most interesting person in any room is rarely the one who knows the most. It's the one who is most eager to keep knowing.
That's a great summary, and it leads us right to the practical part. We know the science, now how do we put it into action?
We have a challenge for you, a 7-day challenge from the source material. We're calling it Operation Unhinged Curiosity.
I love that name. So day 1, the question of the million. You pick someone close to you, a partner, a friend, and ask them a question they have never, ever been asked before.
The example from the source is a great one. What's something you're most embarrassed to genuinely enjoy?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, day 2.
Day 2 is about learning an absurd skill. Spend 20 minutes on YouTube learning something totally useless. How to juggle or whistle with 2 fingers or fold your tongue into a clover.
The point is the novelty, right? No pressure to perform.
Exactly. Day 3 tackles our intellectual blind spots. We all have subjects we've decided we don't care about.
Like opera or quantum physics or the history of toilets.
Perfect. Spend just 10 minutes reading an article or watching a video on that topic. You're just breaking the habit of avoidance.
Day 4 is about physical awareness. Go for a walk in your neighborhood, but with a mission. Find 10 things you have never noticed before. A weird crack in the pavement, a gargoyle on a roof.
It pulls you out of autopilot. Autopilot is where curiosity dies.
Day 5, Eliminate shame. Ask Google or ChatGPT a question you've always been too embarrassed to ask a person.
Like, why are flamingos pink? Or the other example, what happens if you never cut your toenails?
Yeah.
No judgment, just get the answer.
Day 6 is about sharing. Take one interesting thing you learned all week and just share it with someone. A text, a quick comment. It completes the dopamine loop.
Right. And day 7 is just reflection. Look back. Did you feel lighter, more engaged? Did the world seem a little more interesting?
That positive feedback is what makes it a habit.
This whole challenge is basically a blueprint for everything the science proves.
So, as we wrap this up, the core truth is this. The day you stop learning just for the fun of it, the day you stop asking why, that is the day you truly start aging. Curiosity is your birthright.
And it's your best
And
medicine.
your biggest professional advantage.
Exactly. Don't let the grind for efficiency stamp out your wonder. Because life isn't really measured in years, is it? It's measured in those, whoa, I had no idea moments.
So our final thought for you is this. Go find your next wow moment this week. Go be unhinged, be curious, and be well.